Ladies and gentlemen, you can add this to high inflation, real wages down under Biden, an invasion in Europe that wouldn't have happened if Trump were in office because Trump likes to negotiate. He would have negotiated, found a way for some kind of peace deal or settlement before the hostilities, before the invasion. I was saying for a long time, foreign policy is is the main reason to vote for President Trump, former President Trump 2 years ago, and I've been proven right. We see we're 90 seconds to midnight. We had a spy balloon from the most populous country in the world come over the Aleutian Islands, over Alaska, across the entire United States of America, and then after it was done, taking photos and tracking cars or whatever it was doing from that altitude, which is what spy balloons can do, tactical spy balloons anyway. Suddenly it was down on the coast of off the coast of South Carolina. Oh, wow. What an amazing thing. You've allowed it to complete its mission, and then it's down. Well, this isn't national security, by the way, to Democrats. Trump is a national security nightmare. It just happened. We're 90 seconds to midnight because of Biden's foreign policy, not national security. DNC emails, Hunter's laptop that actually show corruption of the Democratic Party, national security. But anyway, CNN, Biden says downing of high-altitude object over Alaska was success. Wow, that's one way of phrasing it. Here's another issue. Here's another way of talking about what's going on. U.S. shoots down car-sized unidentified flying object above Alaska. Reuters. Okay, so you have ABC News, and this is hilarious. So you have ABC News talking about it being cylindrical and silverish. So what does that remind you of? You have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where it's almost certainly not Martians. We know that, but the hilarious thing is if you look, ladies and gentlemen, at an ABC News article, U.S. downs unknown high-altitude object over Alaska, it was cylindrical and silverish gray, ABC's reporter was told. So, what does that tell you? If Trump were in office, oh my God, it would be Trump, the Martians are invading Trump, or Trump is working with Martians to devour the planet, to sell the planet for a hotel on Mars. But with this, PBS, other publications, U.S., an object flying above. It's unidentified, but it's fine. It's the size of a car. It's the size of a car. No big deal. We're 90 seconds to midnight, but at least Trump isn't tweeting. So I'm not. This is hilarious because it's almost another adversary, whether it's China or Russia or another geopolitical rival, going and flying over the country, deriving and transmitting information to their intelligence agencies. That's almost certainly what this is about. Okay, we spent $70 billion plus on intel. It's all been leveled against Trump for the past 7 years. That's why there's a weaponization panel in Congress. And Democrats say, well, that's just how protocol was done on Twitter. I'm like, well, yeah, Twitter had rules targeting conservatives, and guess what? The Federal Bureau of Investigation and other agencies said, these accounts aren't abiding by your rules that target Republicans and Trump, so let's help you. That is the government getting involved. And so they just fall back. It's so hilarious. The Jim Jordan and Lauren Boebert were fantastic, and you have others that were fantastic. And the response from Democrats and media was, that's just the way things go. Yeah, the way things go, the way the guidelines and bureaucratic protocols, the way they're created or the way they're designed or implemented always happens to silence Trump and conservatives and Republicans. How does that work? It's almost as if the DNC emails weren't a plot by another country, but just showed the corruption within the Democratic Party. They were written by Democrats. Hunter's emails were that was a legitimate story, a truthful story, unlike the stories from the Washington Post or the New York Times, consistently talking about how Trump is a menace to democracy. This was an actual, truthful story that was silenced and suppressed within the New York Post. But now we have actual national security issues, and it's like completely being swept under the rug. U.S. downs unknown high-altitude object over Alaska. Now, that link will be below. It's cylindrical and silverish gray. So what does that tell you? Gee, have you ever watched like Independence Day or any other movie about a UFO? National Post, U.S. says it shot down a car-sized UFO over Alaska. So this is interesting because when you read the articles and hit subscribe to this channel, to my super thanks, that's below, thank you. We had a great live stream a couple hours ago. Be here for the live stream. When you watch this, it'll be Saturday, probably, many people. And I'll have a live stream around 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So be here, or 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So be here for the live stream. But ladies and gentlemen, you have a situation where, really quickly, hit subscribe. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, and other publications. And ladies and gentlemen, what can I tell you? To my new Patreons, thank you. My Patreon link is below in the pinned comment and description. National security is ensuring that spy balloons and UFOs don't fly over the country with impunity. That's what national security is. Okay? It is not emails that show Bernie Sanders was cheated. It is not Hunter's laptop that show that he is engaging in very likely bribery and graft. That is not national security. What Democrats have done is they've redefined national security as hacked information from another country that could perhaps swing you to Trump. Who wants that? Who wants to be swung to Trump? Oh my God, the menace. So they have had a Mueller probe. They had all of these dumb investigations on Trump, his tax returns. Oh my God. January was a terrible, terrible, terrible day. It meant a horrible day. The entire summer, and I agree with why people demonstrated peacefully, but there was $1 to $2 billion in property damage. What on earth? How on earth are you going to focus on one day and allow $1 to $2 billion in property damage, 19 lives lost, 14,000 arrests? What happened to democracy all that summer? And then they say, oh, he tried to overthrow the government. Well, he wasn't indicted on that because obviously that's hyperbole. The same type of hyperbole you go after Trump for. You don't like it when Trump engages in hyperbole. That's all you hear from Democrats. The most hyperbolic, apoplectic, absurd leaps of logic you've ever heard in your life. Trump wanted to devour democracy. His words speak to, people who are bad people. Oh my God, oh my God. There are UFOs now flying across over Alaska now. And it was down. Fantastic. It was, I believe, unmanned, obviously. But here, you have all of these articles saying, oh, well, it's taken care of. A second high-altitude object shot down by U.S. military in less than a week. Patrick Bet-David, Valuetainment, is a fantastic, journalist and interviewer, and has a wonderful, really awesome YouTube channels. And he interviewed a liberal pundit the other day, and the liberal pundit made the absurd claim that countries respect the United States of America. The opposite is true. The antithesis of that statement is true. People do not respect the country, and it has nothing to do with military might. We have the greatest military. We have the most powerful military on the planet. It has to do with common sense. Trump would have said, okay, if you put a spy balloon above the country, we're going to down it over the Aleutian Islands. We're not even going to let it get to Alaska, which is what Biden allowed. We're certainly not going to let it get all across the United States. I mean, the reaction would have been apoplectic, as usual, if it happened under Trump. It did not happen 3 different times. That's a lie. There's zero evidence other than Intel says. Well, Intel says the Loch Ness Monster exists. Do you believe that, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat? What if the intelligence agency said Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster existed? Would you believe that? Okay, you would need evidence. he also wouldn't have allowed this UFO, or he would have found out what's going on, which is almost certainly another country trying to derive information or gather intelligence. They don't care about Biden's response. Trump would have leveled tariffs, increased the tariffs towards China, which is Democrats have kept Trump's tariffs and his tax cuts, which is very interesting, isn't that? Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be here tomorrow for the uploads and the live stream on this channel. Hit subscribe right now.